Hey y'all, welcome. It's Dr. Shanae, and we're here with another lovely guest on the Given Name podcast. This is LaKeicha. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, my name is LaKeicha Korvette Decker. My spelling is Lakeicha. Middle name Korvette, which is Korvette, and last name Decker, Decker. Thanks for having me, Shanae.
Awesome. Could you tell me a little bit more about yourself, like your age, if you want to give age, or your generation?
Absolutely. So I am actually 52 years old, which makes me Gen X.
Okay.
Born on the most awesome day of all, which is the day that hip hop was created, August 11, 1973. And I
Wow.
like to say that I am the reason why hip hop was birthed.
We'll
Um,
take it.
yeah, I am Black American, originally from North Carolina. My mom was born and raised in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And so was I after my parents divorced at the age, I think I was 7. My dad is from a very, very small town in Western Kentucky called Morganfield. My parents met because my grandfather was in the Marine Corps, and my mom's town is a military town. And so my grandfather happened to get stationed there. My parents became high school sweethearts and teenage parents, hence me. um, but they did get married before I was born. And unfortunately, when I was born, my mom had not thought of a name for me because she did not want a girl to be her first child. She wanted a boy, and I popped out. So I did not have a name until my godmother named me. And according to her, she named me LaKeicha because during that time in the early 70s, it was a very popular name. She spelled it the way that she did because she said that's how she thought it should be spelled, and that's the way it looked good on paper. And she gave me the middle name Korvette because my dad loved cars. She spelled it with a K because she said the K makes it look more feminine. So, and I have to agree. It's taken me 52 years to get used to it, because for a very long time, I did not like my name, mostly because my mom and her siblings all have pretty whitewashed names. They were named after famous people on television. And so I always felt like the person that kind of stuck out like a sore thumb because my name is very ethnic. But in my older age, I have grown to appreciate it. Of course, it's been misspelled. It continues to be misspelled, mispronounced. And at some point in my life, I did feel like I missed out on job opportunities because of it. However, I got my degrees to back me up, so they cannot take that away from me.
I was on mute. Absolutely. I've been cheering in the background. Love this. Thank you so much. That was so thorough.
Thank you.
And you brought up a lot of points that I think we're going to get to. But first, you said that was it your godmom or your aunt?
My godmother.
Your
She was
godmother.
actually kind of raised like my mom's sibling because my grandmother and my godmother were both, or my godmother's mom, were both adopted into the family that my mom was raised into. They were actually adopted by sibling daughters, and they kind of raised their kids together in the same house. And so, a lot of cousins are really aunts and uncles opposed to just cousins. So, a very extended family. Um, Although I do know my biological maternal side, because my great grandmother who adopted my grandmother went to church with my biological great grandmother, and that's how it all came to be. So she made sure that we knew our biological family. So I have family everywhere, it seems like.
Wow. Wow. Is it like a small town thing that they happen to go to church together? Or is that just it happened?
I don't even know how they ended up going to the same church because the town where my maternal's biological family is from is at least an hour and some change from where we grew up. So I don't know if it just happened to be very limited churches during that time for Black folk in the community, and that's how they ended up going to the same churches. I have no idea. I never asked the question, unfortunately.
Well, you know what you know, so that's good.
Yeah.
You went over like the origin of your name. Have you ever looked it up?
I have, of course. So and I don't know how much you can really put into this, but I mean, it gives me a little bit of like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm kind of special. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, according to Google, if you Google the name, Lakeisha is a derivative of the biblical name Keziah, which was Job's favorite daughter. And so it means favorite.
I didn't know that. That's so interesting. Now I want to tell everyone. So Lakeisha is not a made up unique name. It means favorite.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. And hey, I've embraced it and I believe it. It suits me because
Yes,
I'm the first grandchild, the first niece. I'm the first of a lot of things. And I was the favorite of my
you
grandmother.
are. Yeah. The first is normally, yeah, they're the favorite there. The first one to make them whatever title. That's really cool. I didn't know about that. Um, do you know if there were any other options that your godmother had or your mother had that she
No,
might have adopted?
no, my mom absolutely did not think of a girl's name at all.
Did she tell you the boys' names that she had?
Yes. So she wanted to name my brother, who is 2 years younger than me, Jermaine. But
Mm-hmm.
my dad trumped her, so he's actually named after my dad. He's the third, actually.
Okay, a Trey. Okay.
Yeah. So
So it's just you and your brother?
by my mom, yes. My dad, after my parents split, my dad did have two more children. They were both boys. The youngest one just died back in September. Unfortunately, he had an untimely passing. So it was a little difficult because I had just lost my dad in May. And so I had just seen my brother in May, and I was just like, listen, I don't need nobody else dying in this family because getting here is like literally going over the river and through the woods to get to Morganfield, Kentucky. And so
Mm,
he didn't heed my advice.
he did, and here he goes. Like, wasn't listening at all.
No,
Gosh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but
thank you.
sending you love and positive vibes if
I
that
appreciate
helps.
that. Thank you.
So, growing up, how did you feel about your name? You mentioned like your siblings had white names or
My
whitewash
my
names.
mom and her siblings,
Your
not
mom and her siblings. So
yeah.
even your godmom who named you.
Her name is Cleopatra. So she was named after someone on television.
Okay. And
Like my mom's name is Gloria. She has a sister named Marilyn, a brother
hmm,
named Mitchell, a brother named Ryan, a sister named Gina. And then my grandmother had three kids that died in infancy, but you know,
hmm.
one was named Monica, one was named Carmen, and the other one was Cameron.
Huh.
Yeah. And then here comes Lakeisha.
Is there a theme for the K's or for the K or C sound in the family?
I don't think so. I mean, unlike my daughter's father side of the family, most of the girls on that side, their names start with T, with the
Hmm.
exception of my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, I even though I never quite loved my name because I felt like it was just way too ethnic, I never thought I would give my daughter a name that was as ethnic as it is. But when I went off to college and I went to a PWI, first and
Hmm.
foremost. And so being part of a Black student movement was really important to me, to just kind of be in community.
Hmm.
So I belong to a couple of Black social clubs. One of them was like the Black Alliance Council, which
Yeah.
really focused on, you know, us coming together and standing up for the things that we felt like we needed as a community on the campus.
Mhm.
And so during that time in the early 90s, we fought really, really hard to get a Black cultural center on campus. And it was like this big thing, like it made nationwide news. Spike Lee came. At that time, Eric Michael Dyson was also a professor on the campus. And so, we just had a lot of people who were very proactive in the Black community that came out and supported us. And one of the things that we also had was like a book club. And so we read the ISIS papers by Francis Cress Welsing.
Mhm.
And I was just so in love with it, and I always said at that time, like, oh, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her Isis.
Yeah.
And, I'm like 18, 19. I wasn't thinking about no kids, but, I still just kind of put it in the back of my mind. And so when I did become a parent at the age of 24, I named my daughter Isis. And I named her that because of the meaning of the name itself, which was love, beauty, and new beginnings. And at that time of my life, that's what she meant to me. And she
That's
still
so
does.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about like ISIS as the terrorist group?
Oh my gosh. I have stories because I don't know if you ever remember when President Barack Obama was in office, and that's when like the whole ISIS thing was really, really like bad in terms of, them talking about it on the news. And at one point he even went on the news and made a speech about how it should not be referred to ISIS because it's really ISIL. So ISIL, right?
Oh.
And he spoke to the fact that there are so many women who carry this name. And so when you put such a negative connotation to it, these women are being mistreated. And I can speak to that because my daughter, when she was in college, she would have, like, if she tried to get an Uber ride, they would cancel the ride.
Wow.
Or they would call her and say, "Is that really your name?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, like it's on my birth certificate." One time she went to Busch Gardens, tried to get a t-shirt with her name on the back. They refused to do it. I used to have this nameplate on a vehicle that I owned, which was my daughter's name on the license plate. And it was ISIS, the number 1, and then LUV. That was a personalized plate that I had. And so where I live, I didn't really have too many issues with it. But when I gave the vehicle to my uncle who lives in this military town where we're all from, my uncle had someone pull up beside him and was like, "You need to get rid of that license plate before you get hurt," basically.
Yeah. That one love could have really been misinterpreted there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I never would have thought,
No.
back in 1997, I had no clue like that would be a thing,
No.
And I mean, like I've been to Africa, Egypt specifically. Like I've been to 5 countries in Africa, but the first one that I went to was in Egypt. And like just talking to the people there. And I think at some point, like I mentioned how my daughter's name was Isis and they, pronounced it the correct way, which is not how we pronounce it. And they loved it. They loved that I even thought to give my daughter that name. So to not have that same feeling,
Yeah.
something crazy.
Wow. It's crazy how other cultures are so accepting of our names. Like when other people say my name, they're like, "Oh, Shanae," and I'm, "What? You said it right?" But then you get to America and it's Shani, Shana, and you're just like, "What are you seeing there?" But
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful that other nations are like well versed enough to know that different sounds, like for different letters and stuff?
Because I've noticed that, a lot of people who are not from this country pronounce my name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Get that the CH is a soft C, and that it's a sh and not a ch, which is crazy. I've had,
LaKeicha?
so it's Lakeisha, but,
Yeah.
I've had, I'm a registered nurse by profession. And so I've had a doctor who just thought it was so funny to mispronounce my name. And he would be like, yeah, Lakeisha. And I would always correct him. I'm like, actually, it's Lakeisha,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can pronounce X, Y, and Z, then you can pronounce my name,
It's right there. 3 syllables. It's right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, first of all, thank you for being an RN. We appreciate your service so much.
Thank you.
This doctor, I don't know if seems like a power struggle like every once in a while. Like why would you're adding letters to your name, like you're adding syllables.
Part of it was he and I, we had worked together before. So like, even though I know like he was doing it jokingly, it to me also felt like a microaggression.
Yes.
So it was really important for me to like correct him on that, like, nah, we're not playing that. But I've had people who have mispronounced it, and then when I give them the correct pronunciation, they're like, "Oh, that's so beautiful," and I'm like, "Thanks, it's growing on me."
Yeah.
It took me a while. I mean, a while. I probably did not really start appreciating my name until I thought about changing it.
Mm.
And so I was going to change my name to, and this is really crazy, but I was going to change it to Lelle,
Uh-huh.
middle name Kaye, to not get too far away from my name, I guess,
Yeah.
so to speak. And I was really going to do it. And I talked to my mom about it. And my mom was like, "Oh, your godmother will be so upset if you did that." And so I had to consider the fact that,
That's the reason why you didn't change it?
yeah, that's the reason.
Okay.
I love my godmother, and I know she meant well. I mean, she thought enough of me to name me.
Yeah. And
You know?
something she actually liked. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been the first person in my family to change the name, because I had a cousin who changed his. He was named when he was born as Boris, from Boris and
Mm-hmm.
Natasha, because again, mostly everybody is named after people on television. And so probably late 80s, early 90s, he changed it to Dominique, because people kept telling him he looked like Dominique Wilkins. And so, yeah.
That's interesting. It's like changing your name because of the responses that you get. So because he looked like someone else, he changed his name. Interesting.
Well, he never liked Boris. He never liked Boris, ever.
Okay.
And we didn't call him
he didn't look like a Boris either, is what I'm guessing.
Nobody called him Boris. So it just,
Okay, so first, you said that you have a little bit of like tension with your name growing up because it was so different from everyone else's. When did you start to accept your name?
Oh, shoot. I don't think I did until maybe like 10 years ago, because the other part of that is, again, Lakeisha was a very popular name in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So there are tons of Lakeishas, right? And I
Right.
didn't like being part of like, I'm very much into being an individual, like I just like being different, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to be grouped in, oh, there goes another Keisha, so
Yeah. The
yeah,
Britneys of the 90s. Wow.
yeah, so
Wow. That's
hated it.
so.
That was another reason why I didn't like it.
Yeah. Were you ever in class with another LaKeicha or like in proximity with another so that they had to distinguish your names?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. I still have friends that call me both my first and last name.
That's how you distinguish?
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you decide to go by Keesh?
It was just like a childhood nickname that one of my favorite cousins gave me, and I liked it. I thought it sounded sweet, and I loved her, and so like she was an older cousin, so I would go spend the night with her all the time. You have how you have those cousins that you just look up to. She was that,
Yeah.
and so she would always call me Keesh or Keesh Keesh. Even to this day, she calls me Keesh Keesh, and so it just stuck. And I liked it and was like, all right, that's what I'm going to go by. And so I probably started coining it when I was in middle school, where I just wanted to call me Keesh. Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel any way about that? Like, was that a liberation for you or like a new change on your identity because you didn't really want to be the LaKeicha in the crowd of LaKeishas?
Yeah. I mean, even if you look at my handle, it says only one Keesh for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Love the intentionality.
And so even, I mean, and it's crazy because this is so crazy. So, as you know, I am a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
How could I not?
Yes. But I joined grad chapter. And so in my chapter, there at the time that I joined, oh my God, there was probably like 5 Keishas, either Keisha, LaKeicha. There was a variation of Keishas. Okay. But I already had my handle only one Keish before I ever, joined an organization. And so people just kind of knew me in the city. And so once I, became a member of SG Rho, even other people be like, nah, we talking about only one Keish. Like
Only
that's
one Keish. Yeah.
and my daughter went to a HBCU. So, she would have people on campus being like, oh, only one Keish is your mom.
She is a one of one. Don't play her.
One.
Wow. That's so
Yeah.
cute. I love the handle. Only one Keish. Because apparently there's a bunch of LaKeishas.
There's a bunch, but there's only
Keish.
one Keish. And if you know, you know.
Have you seen other spelling variations of your name? Like besides the SHA, has there been any like variations that surprised you or were just like completely different?
I think there's 2 that surprised me. So I never forget. So I went to UNC Chapel Hill, and years after, probably I was already a mom by this point. I happened to go to, and I was living in Chapel Hill, and I happened to go to a McDonald's on Franklin Street. And there was this young lady working behind the counter, and her name was spelled almost identical to mine, with the exception of she did not have, I think she had the I before the E.
Ah.
Yeah. And I was just like, because it was spelled with a C. And I was just like, it just caught my eye because I had never seen that.
Yeah.
The other one would be I do have a chapter soror who her name is spelled LaKeesha.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go by Keisha?
She goes by Keesh.
Oh. But there's only one Keish.
But there's only one Keesh.
Okay.
And she knows.
Or not.
She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wouldn't try it. Have you ever heard your name called like outside for someone who wasn't calling you specifically, but like another LaKeicha?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that and been like, oh, not
me? Yeah. Yeah. Plenty of times.
It's crazy to me that LaKeicha is a popular name for the 70s.
Yeah. I don't even know like why, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure there was something on TV or something that had happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how they got it. Well, I think that the La was a thing, right? Because you
Mhm.
have Latanya, Letitia, Latoya. So I think that was one thing. And
Yeah.
then Keisha was another thing. And then they decided to,
Marry yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
is what I'm guessing. I don't really know, but yeah.
We're all guessing here. Yeah, that's fine. Um, did you ever find your name in a gift shop? Like when the customized tags and stuff?
Spelled like mine, no.
Did you find it Lakeisha though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I
Because
wouldn't
it's
buy it though, because it wasn't spelled like my name. So
and again, only one.
yeah.
So that wasn't for you. Okay. Um, I think we talked about spelling variations, but let's get back into like the identity of your name. Are there, well, first, how do people mispronounce your name? Is there any mispronunciation that you would let slide without correcting them?
No, I always correct them.
Love that.
A lot of times and I don't even know how this happens. I can go, especially when I'm like, I don't work bedside anymore, but when I used to work bedside and I would go into patients' rooms and introduce myself, my name would be on the little whiteboard with the spelling. And, I'm like, hi, I'm your nurse, Lakeisha. And they're like, oh, hi, Letitia. Where'd you get the T?
Close, but no. Yeah.
Where did the T come from? I think I got that the most.
Letitia.
Yeah.
That is so, it's right. The letters are there.
Yeah. I think
It's
I
not
just chalked
even,
it up to people like either being like not really paying attention, or like they're used to hearing, because a lot of times these were not Black people that would mispronounce
mhm.
it. So they would just, the first thing that they would think of as soon as they heard me say it, which would be like Lakeisha, right? Because they do it with my daughter's name too. My daughter has 4 letters in her name.
Mhm.
ISIS. And like I would take her to the doctor and they'll be like, Iris, Iris, Iris. And we're sitting there like, who the hell is Iris?
Yeah, not over here. Girl, what is happening?
So I think people just they just glance at it really quickly, and
They assume they know where it's going.
yeah,
Yeah.
they assume that, oh, it has to be a misspelling.
That is the worst part. I hate when people are like, oh, no, well, I know somebody who spells it with the EE
You're
and
right.
they call it this. And it's like, I just told you what I call it. And it's also spelled right in front of you. What's the issue?
Yeah. And it's the ones that, try to do the whole grammar policing thing. Like, well, it shouldn't be E before I. First of all, this is how my godmother said it looks good.
And doesn't it look good? You know exactly what my name is. You know what's happening.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to you when people mispronounce or even misspell your name, like in emails?
Oh, that is probably the most annoying thing of all,
Mhm.
because it's just like,
It's right there.
it's right there,
Right.
you know.
It
Um,
ends. Get to this message.
yeah, it really annoys me, and it annoys me a lot. And I'm very particular. Like, as you can see, I capitalize the K. So even
Mhm.
if you send me an email and the K is not capitalized, I'm perturbed.
What do you say?
I usually won't say anything particularly, especially if it's not someone that I have any type of rapport relationship with. I just chalk it up to, oh, they're just, responding really quickly. But if I know them, I'll be like, girl, then, and it's
Mhm.
LAKEICHA, capital K, so
Yeah. What?
yeah.
Okay. So do you
But I
see
also, I've had friends, and I've made this post on Facebook before. Like,
Mhm.
if you've been my friend for over, we'll just say 10 years, and you are still spelling my name wrong, then are you really my friend?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? because you need to be paying attention to me. Like you need to be, it's right there.
Have people done like the Lakeisha or the LE instead of the A?
Yes. They've done the LE, they've done the KECIA, uh, they've dropped the S in there. Like I've even had to say, like, there is no S in my name. There's an S in my nickname, but not in my name. You know, I've had people give me birthday cakes with my name spelled wrong.
Now, come on.
And as a Leo, I'm very particular when it comes to my birthday. So I take that personal.
How are you close enough to give a birthday cake, but not close enough to know how to spell your name?
Yeah, I take it personal.
That's interesting. That's something different there.
And it's only because I feel like I take a lot, I put a lot into knowing the people who are in my circle. Like, you know, like I try to make everyone feel seen and appreciated, you know, if you're in my circle. And so when I don't get that in return, I just kind of feel like, well, dang, you know, what's up with that?
Yeah.
You know.
That's very interesting. Have you thought of changing your nickname to match your name? So instead of the SH, it would be the CH.
No.
No. Okay. Do you think that people would be less confused if you did?
No, I think they would mispronounce it.
Each.
Yeah, they would mispronounce it. You know. Now I do have some people, you know, that will just type it that way if they're talking to me on Facebook or something like that. But you know, I appreciate the fact that they spell it right, but I just don't feel like in the grand scheme of things, I think it would get mispronounced more so.
That's very true. Yeah, I think so. They would find something. So
Yeah.
do you see your name as creative?
I do. I mean, I do now. Again, I thought my godmother had lost her mind. I was like, what? Where did she get this name from? You know, but over the years, we've talked about it. She's explained it to me, and, you know, she's told me why she chose, you know, the K over the C and why she spelled the CH instead of the SH. And I mean, I finally appreciate the fact that she put so much thought and love into it. Yeah.
That's a good perspective. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, you spell your name with care. So that's a reflection. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So for your name, you talked a little bit about at the very beginning about possibly losing out on opportunities because of your name and the way that it's spelled. So let's talk about your name and what precedes you before you walk into a room. So if a stranger is to read your name on an application or even a program, what do they know about you based on your name?
I think the first thing they think is, oh, she's Black.
And she, yeah. Yeah.
She's Black. I also think, unfortunately, that some perceive it as, oh, she's not just Black, she's ghetto and Black because she has this ghetto Black name, you know? And if they don't get past the name itself, then what's on the resume doesn't even matter.
Right.
Now things are different now because now, you know, a lot of things are more, you know, automated. It's not even going to a real person until it gets through the system, and then HR sends that on to the manager. But back in the day when people were really like pulling, you know, and reading resumes, they weren't even getting past the name, girl.
No. There's been, so not even to dwell on this because I don't want to think about ways that society weaponizes our names, you know? And so I'm seeing them as creativity, and then it's like, okay, but this creativity is what kind of makes me distinctive because only one Keesh. So, like, I don't know how you do the duality of that. Like, there are some people that say if someone is to look at my application and read my name and think that I'm not enough, I don't want to work there anyway. Well, there are other people who may like negotiate their identity. So they would go like Keesh on the resume or something to try and perter that type of discrimination. Do you have a side or a preferred method, I guess?
I think I tried it when I felt like I wasn't getting any, because there was a time, it was a brief time when I was like really on the job hunt, like
Mm-hmm.
in my nursing career. Um, and I just felt like I wasn't getting any callbacks. And so I dropped the first and middle name and just put the initials, LK Decker.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I've always said about my last name is that I didn't know any Black Deckers outside of my family.
Okay.
So any Deckers that I met out in the world were white.
Hmm.
And so I figured, well, if I drop this full name and just put LK Decker, I'll probably get
More
someone to call me
callbacks.
back. And
Yeah.
I did. I did.
Wow.
I did. And that didn't set right with me. I'm very pro Black, and I'm not ashamed of my name. I just didn't like it. I didn't think I was Lakeisha. I didn't think I looked like Lakeisha, and I didn't understand the whole car concept.
Mhm.
I wasn't ashamed of it. I mean, I actually love Prince. So when, Little Red Corvette came out, baby, I just knew he
Mhm.
was talking about me,
Yeah.
so it wasn't any shame in it. It was just kind of like, well, it's just not like the other names in my family.
Mhm.
And so once I noticed that I was getting callbacks with just having my initials, I didn't like it. And so I went back.
Okay. That's interesting. So there's two things here. I appreciate that you saw the negotiation. It's kind of like it's not shocking because you know that it happens, but to even know that in that situation, like it's not even like you were doing a study, but you found that people were more likely to call you back if you used your initials and your last name to support that they would be more inclined to hire you despite what your full name which would like suggest to them. But also, I think you did tell me about listening to Frances. What's her name? Frances Cress. Well,
Yes.
yes. So I listened to her and then I got on a tangent about Afrocentrism. And the founder, I don't know his name, but the guy who's termed as the founder, he was saying that there's also like a psychological conditioning that has to happen where Black people are able to center themselves in the narrative that usually keeps them as a margin. And
Mhm.
it's so interesting to me that it seems like you did the exact same thing. Like you were centering yourself as in, no, I don't have a problem. Like you shouldn't discriminate on me based on my name. I don't get my name right now, but there's no reason, for anyone else to think differently. And that's such a different perspective than the whitewash perspective of like, oh, she has that name, she must be ghetto, she must feel terrible about her name, like things like that. Or she doesn't want to get a job. Obviously, we all notice that we have to work. So why would
Right.
we do anything different?
Right.
But I think that that's really bold and it speaks to who you are within your Blackness and who you are like within your journey, that you're centered. Like you are the general, the average, the dominant in your society. And so you might see other people, but you're not looking at them as like, oh, ghetto. Oh, prestige. Like it's not that. That's great. That's a great perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I had to be true to who I was essentially,
Mhm.
and, you know, what I know is my resume speaks for itself. If you get
Mm-hmm.
past the name and you read the resume, baby, you're gonna want to hire me, you know.
Look.
So, um, so I had to just kind of own the fact that, hey, this is my name, and again, as you said, I don't want to work for anybody who can't get past the name.
Yeah.
So
I don't, it's just, it seems like a different type of workplace to have to negotiate your identity all the time, knowing that that's why they hired you or that was a factor in your hiring.
again, especially in healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
baby, there are a lot of names that I can't pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have them rolling off the tongue. This shouldn't be an issue.
So how you stuck on mine?
I don't know. I don't get it. I love Black names because I think that they are so creative in the way that they're spelled, in the way that we take pride in them, despite what other people think. I think that that is so amazing. So the fact that there is, like, it feels like it's infiltrated every part of the system, like education, healthcare, like it just, we're moving through.
Yeah.
Um, okay, off that. Tell me more about naming your daughter. So, what went into that process for you?
Again, I love the name Isis.
Hmm.
And so, which is crazy because, when I was in college before I met my daughter's father and, the guy I was dating at the time, and we would talk about our future of, getting married and having kids and what we were name our kids. Isis was never anything I ever
You didn't bring it up?
presented to him. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
But when that relationship ended and I, eventually met my daughter's father and, 2 years in, we're engaged. And well, actually, we got engaged within a year. And then that next year, we were having a baby, and he wanted me to follow the tradition of his family and
Mm.
give my daughter a name that started with T. And I was like, absolutely not, because I just always knew I was having a girl. I just had that feeling. And I
Yeah.
was like, absolutely not. I'm going to name my daughter Isis, and this is what it means. And this is what it means to me. And I just think it's so beautiful. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. That is nice.
Good.
And then her middle name is Amari. So it's Amari.
Hmm.
And I honestly got that off of television. Had to stick to my roots and go on the kind of name on TV. And so it was a little Black girl. I want to say she played on that show with Robert Townsend. I can't be for certain, but her middle name was Amari. I saw it. I just loved the spelling. And I put it with Isis, and I love the way that it kind of flowed. Isis Amari.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and so I just knew, like, okay, that's going to be my daughter's name, and I wasn't 100, hadn't been told yet that I was having a girl, but I knew. So I
Wow.
was like, that's going to be my daughter's name. And so my daughter loves her name. Of course, Amari means love, so it's just perfect. It's perfect. And the thing about it is, once I named her that, like, I no longer felt like, the one person with a super ethnic name,
Ah.
you know? And so, which is crazy because because of everything that I went through, I was like, oh, I'm never going to give my child an ethnic name. And then I ended up doing it anyway. So,
Mhm.
and then my daughter just had my first grandchild in January.
Woo, woo! Come on,
Yeah.
Capricorns.
So he's about to be one, and she gave him a very strong name, and his name is Mars, after, well, you can say the planet, but also after the god of war.
Mhm.
And his middle name is hyphenated. It's Hebrew. It's Jakin Edan.
Okay.
So it means that uh, God establishes time, is what it
Wow.
translates to. And so Mars, Jakin Edan.
So it's the god of war
Yeah.
And then God establishes time.
Yeah. So the God of War is more so because he was also very protective of his mother.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the womb? Is that what you're saying? Or like the actual God of War?
The actual God of War.
Okay. I was like, how is he protecting in the womb? But okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
That's very cool. And this is your first grandchild?
this is my first grandchild. Now, the name Mars was not what she chose.
Mm.
Story's kind of crazy, but it wasn't a name that she chose. My daughter's father died when she was 18. So 2015. And she said maybe like a year or so later, he came to her in a dream and was like, I want to introduce you to my grandson, Mars.
Hmm.
And so after that, she kept seeing the name Mars everywhere on license plates, you name it. And she was like, okay, I get it, which at that time she hadn't gotten married. She hadn't even thought about having kids.
Wow.
So when all of that did happen, she had a boy and named him Mars. So,
Wow.
yeah.
There's such a spiritual aspect to that, but also ancient, what is it? What do we call that? Ancient Greek?
Yeah,
Greek
mythology.
history? Mythology, yes. So it's very, do you know which one came first? Did she know what Mars meant? Or was it that her father came to her in a dream and said Mars and then she looked at
I think, well, I believe it was the father came first.
it? Mm-hmm.
And then, after she started really researching the name. Yeah.
She liked it. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This has been so cool. Is there
So
any?
I like to say that whitewashing of names has stopped with me and my bloodline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cut it right there. And so, why are you so passionate about that?
Because again, I'm very pro-Black. I love my Blackness. I take much pride, always have. Knowing my history has always been important to me since I was a little child. I was like a great student. I did really well and everything, but I was a self-learner.
Ah.
And so, a lot of the knowledge that I acquired, I got it on my own. So I'm from a small country military town. They weren't really pouring into us,
Mhm.
Black students, to make sure that we got what we needed. Unlike when my mom was in school, like my mom she didn't go to a integrated school until she was in high school.
Hmm.
So it was different for them.
Yeah.
So by
My
the time
mom.
I came along, you know, integration was huge. And so going to these schools where teachers really didn't care whether we did well or not, you
Yeah.
know.
And they
So
definitely weren't teaching accurate history. So.
right, right. So I was that kid who loved to read and would read on my own and read encyclopedias and learn stuff and go into the class and get on the teacher's nerves and rebuttal everything that they're teaching and say, well, actually, no, it was so and so and so, and this is
Yeah.
what happened when, that was
That was
me.
me. That was
And so I also tried to make it, I made sure my daughter was the same way,
mhm.
made sure that I taught her outside of the classroom. And, I'm going to do the same with my grandson. He's already taken a liking to my Hebrews to Negroes book. So gonna make sure he get the knowledge, girl. Gonna make sure.
Oh my gosh. You said the 1-year-old is taking a liking to your.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He knows what it is. Okay.
Yep. So that's really just it. Like I've always been someone who supported Black owned businesses. That's just my thing. I love our people and
Mhm.
try to support them as much as I possibly can. I mean, even this sweatshirt I have on is Black owned from
I love that.
one of my best friends, her son's clothing line, Ohana Only. And so, you know, I just
Black people.
The collective.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. You know.
There's this anthropological word called fictive kinship. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So yeah, I have a cousin. I can't remember what the title of her doctoral project was, but it was something on kinship. She's actually going to be teaching at Harvard soon.
Ooh.
Yeah. But she did this whole kinship thing, and you know, I think that it's so important that we talk about those kinds of things and really teach ourselves and our children so that we continue to pass that knowledge on, you know, especially now with so much changing with the school systems and what you can teach and, you know,
right.
We have to really tap into those resources. So that's why I was so happy when I saw your TikTok video and saw you talking about this. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I got to be a part of it, you know, because I think we have to get rid of the stigmas that go along with naming our kids, you know. If they can name their kids apples, then baby, why can't I mean, listen, I've seen some names as a nurse.
I'm sure.
I have. I've seen some names, and I'm gonna tell you, I've questioned some names, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, you know what? Do you know?
Yeah.
Like I had a girl brought her son in. His name was Cavassier. Daughter's name was Avion.
Creativity.
Creativity.
I will not yuck their yum. Because honestly, it is creative.
Yeah.
Who knows how long Cavassier will be popular. So maybe Grandpa Cavassier is a hit. I don't know. But
nowadays things are so different. Like it's not your traditional work environments anymore. And you know, people with these unique, you know, because that's what I like to think of them as, creative, unique names.
Yep.
They no longer have to fit in a box in a 9 to 5 if they don't want to. You know, they can be their own bosses now, and nobody can question what their name is. And so I think it's a plus.
That's really great. I want to ask a question about those who do choose the whitewashing of names. Like maybe they negotiate like white name in the front or racially androgynous in the front and ethnic or unique as a middle name.
I don't have a problem with it. You got to do what's best for you. It just doesn't work for me. You know, it just doesn't work for me. It's not something I want for me and my bloodline. You know, I want my grandchildren, because I'm not going to have any more children, but I want my grandchildren to have names that they are proud of, that makes them feel special, you know, and allow them to reflect, as I had to do, on, well, what about this name makes me special, and what was the person thinking, you know, when they chose to give me this name, you know, because on the flip side of having, you know, a unique name also has to come the conversation of, like, for example, as I told you, my brother is named after my dad. And so when we talk about like generational trauma in our families, you know, a lot of times people don't address, you know, the absent father who you're named after and how that affects you when you become an adult, you know, like the psyche of being named after someone that you felt like abandoned you. You know, and having to carry that name throughout your life. And I'm speaking on this because I know my brother has experienced this. And so, you know, is it worth, naming your son after
The
their
father.
father, and unfortunately having that become a result, like if the relationship ends? It doesn't happen with everyone, but I'm just saying in a lot of situations,
Yeah.
you got people being named junior, third, fourth, fifth, and there's really no uniqueness to it,
Hmm.
you
And
know
there's no unity within the family of it. It's just carry this on because we're supposed to.
right. And then also you feel like you don't have your own identity.
No. You become a junior or you're a Trey, but people, like if they call the house asking for John, well, girl, John who? There's 3 generations of John here. Like,
Exactly. And
wow.
so, I mean, that's another aspect of names in our community, and how we need to really embrace thinking of names that mean something,
Hmm.
because I mean, for my brother, his name doesn't mean anything good, you know so
Yeah. Wow. I think that that's a really good point. And it makes me wonder, like, as I do this podcast, do I section it off by like topic or do I just do time period and season? And I think for things like this, if we're looking at that psychological part, like the component of it that you just brought up, like, I am named after someone that nobody around me has anything good to say about. When you say my name, you're reminded of the person and what trauma or atrocity they did to you. So
Mhm.
it's not, you don't have a healthy relationship with your name because nobody else does in the house.
Exactly.
Huh.
Exactly.
That's a really good point. Now my mind is really going.
Girl, you done opened up a whole Pandora's box with the
Yes.
name. I'm telling you.
There's even you've said so much. I can't wait to listen to this back. I'm sure that I'm going to have like tangent trees everywhere, but there's so much that you said. I really, really, really appreciate your perspective.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
thank you so much for being here.
And
It's
thank
been
you
so
so much
great.
for having me. I can't wait to see the end product. I wish you the best. I hope that, this really, really takes off for you,
Mhm.
because I mean, I can see this being kind of like, what's the guy's name that does the whole little DNA stuff?
Who does Maury?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
The guy that does the like where he does the DNA testing and tracing people's roots and connecting them.
Mm.
I think of his name. I think it starts with an H.
I'm
Is,
gonna look.
is it Henry? Like he had like Don Cheadle on his show, and
Finding your roots.
yes.
Ah, I know who I'm gonna reach out to. Interesting. I've
Yeah.
been looking to partner because I had the thought, and if you have to go, just let me know and I will
No,
shut up.
girl, I'm on vacation.
Love that. Technology. Um, I've been thinking about like some sort of photography component of like, like your name says so many things, but so does your face. Like if you just get a tight end of your face, you see so much, like the frown lines, like the laugh lines, the dimples, like are you rolling your eyes consistently? Is your brow furrowed? Things like that. And it's just like there's so much, it opens a Pandora's box of everything.
Mhm.
Just like there's so much, if we're looking at just names, so much of what you said is like a different study within itself. And then
Mhm.
if we also are looking at faces, a study within itself. And so now if we're bringing in the find your roots, I'm sure that there are people who don't even know who they're named after.
Exactly.
And that's pretty powerful to not know the history or the honor of your name. Hmm.
Yeah. So you got something good. Stick
Thank
with it.
you.
Stick
I
with
so love my good sore that you spent your time with me today.
I am so happy that I could be a part of it. Truly, I am. I really am. Because again, like I said, it's been a full circle moment for me to just go from like not loving my name to finally appreciating the
Mhm.
love that went into my name.
Yes.
And then just how it speaks to who I am on so many levels. It is unique.
Mhm.
And I love that. I love that part. Once I realized, like, yeah, there might be 5011 Keishas, but there's only one Keish, and
Yes.
not too many people spell it like mine. So,
And even who named you, like your cousin giving you that nickname, you hold so much more pride for that because someone, they weren't just like Keesh, Keesh, Keesh. Like it's like no, one of your favorite cousins like made up an affectionate name for you,
yeah,
and that has gone throughout your life.
yeah,
That's so beautiful.
yeah.
I love names. It's blackness, names, identity. I'm for us. I love it.
I am. I'm for us as well. And so that's why I can't wait to share this, and just kind of see how many more people want to be a part of it for you,
Yeah.
because there are people every day, that are just like, oh, they see my grandson on my TikTok and they're like, oh, I love his name, Mars,
Mhm.
And so, like it's important because, and like I told my daughter, it's important for her to tell the story of how she got the name.
Mhm.
Sometimes people just assume like, oh, you're copying somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
so for me, when I was about to have my daughter and I named her Isis Amari, one of my friends from college was pregnant at the same time, and she called me out the blue and she was like, oh, so because we were due around the same time, and she was
Mhm.
like, so what are you going to name your baby? And I told her. She's like, oh, Amari, I love that. Now she was having a boy,
Okay.
and she was like, I'm going to steal that. And I just laughed it off. I
Mm.
laughed it off like, yeah, girl, whatever. And she did.
She
And
named her son Amari.
yes, well, she, as his middle name.
Mm.
And she actually had him a few days before I had my daughter. And I was so mad. I
Yeah.
was so mad. Because I was like, oh, I don't want people to think that I copied her. Like,
Yeah.
I've always, knew I was gonna name my daughter this, whatever. But the more I see it now, it drives me crazy. My daughter actually graduated from high school with a girl whose name was Amari, spelled the exact same name,
Mhm.
same way, and they had the same last name. It's,
Wow.
I was just like, well, girl, you weren't the only one. So
It was a popular year.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a couple of years. The late
Yeah.
90s. So yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the podcast family or anything that you want them to pay special attention to? Anything you want to push?
Um, No, I would just say, like, if you guys would like to follow me on social media, you can find me as only one Keesh on Instagram as well as TikTok. I probably post more on TikTok than I do anything else. I'm also in a digital sitcom called No One Like Us, which you can also find on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I play Mama Cheryl. So if you want to check that out, we post new episodes every Friday. I do make appearances, and yeah, show us some love, show us some support. Definitely share, like, follow.
Awesome. I will plug that in the notes. I may ask you for the link to No One Like Us because that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's really great. It's by a young lady who she's a friend of my daughter. They went to high school together, and she hit me up and was like, "Hey, would you like to be in my digital sitcom. And it happened like kind of during the pandemic. So I thought I just needed to make one appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, sure, girl, no problem.
Yeah. Now you're a recurring character.
I'm a recurring character. So it's great to see how, because we're in totally different places in the US.
Okay.
It's great to see how she takes what we do on green screen and put it all together to come up with these episodes. I mean, I've fallen in love with it, and I don't even consider myself to be someone who can act, but somehow, I enjoy this role. So
yeah. Awesome. This is the end of our episode for now. Thank you so much for listening to the episode and for making it this far. Please remember to like and subscribe to podcasts. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their friends about the podcast. Also, if you want to follow me on IG, Threads, or TikTok, you can find me at awkward_PhD. And finally, if you'd like to see the products and services from the Shanae Chantel brand, please visit shanaechantel.com. Take care.